So what if the biggest thing holding you back, the biggest obstacle in your life,
Yeah.
is actually you? It's kind of a tough question, right? But it's what we're digging into today in this deep dive. We're looking at the mountain is you, overcoming self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Our aim, to really unpack how self-sabotage holds us back and, more importantly, how we can start climbing those inner mountains.
Exactly. And just to be clear, we're not talking about climbing, Mount Everest here. The book uses the mountain as a metaphor for those internal barriers we all face. Things like fear, self-doubt, maybe old wounds, stuff that leads to self-sabotaging behaviors. The whole idea is turning challenges into strengths, and it offers some really practical ways to do that.
Okay, so where does this climb actually begin? The book lays out, I think, 6 key lessons. First one, knowing your triggers. And what's really interesting here, kind of flips things on its head, is how it frames triggers, not as enemies, or flaws we need to crush. No, it describes them more like a GPS signal, pointing right to maybe unhealed stuff or needs we haven't met, things we might not even be aware of. It's less about blame, more discovery.
That's such a good way to put it, GPS signal. And the action step isn't just spot the trigger. It's more about, okay, next time you feel that reaction bubbling up, pause. Ask yourself, okay, wait, what's really going on underneath this feeling? It nudges you to look past the surface emotion, find the root, turns frustration into, well, potential insight. Triggers as signposts. I like that. It definitely changes how you think about reacting. So, once we spot them, what's next? How do we engage differently? Which brings us perfectly to lesson 2. Radical self-compassion. And this isn't just, be nice to yourself. Some people hear compassion and think it's soft, maybe even weak. But the author, Brianna, she argues it's not weakness at all. It's actually the crucial first step to making real change. She literally says, treat yourself like you'd treat a friend in pain, which for a lot of us feels weird.
Right, because we're so used to thinking we need that inner critic, that harsh voice to push us forward. But her point is that self-criticism often just freezes us up. It paralyzes. So compassion becomes this unexpected key to unlocking real change. A simple thing the book suggests. Take a minute each morning. Write yourself a kind note. Actually internalize that supportive friend's voice. It helps rewire that inner nag. Chipping away at that self-judgment. Okay, building on that kindness. The book talks about feel to heal, another one that sounds maybe a bit backward. Resisting pain just makes it stronger, it says. The way through is to actually feel the hurt. Observe it, don't judge it, then let it go. I can almost hear people thinking, wait, schedule 5 minutes to feel bad. Yeah. Isn't that just wallowing?
Yeah, it's a fair question, but it's not about wallowing. It's clarified as cultivating radical acceptance of temporary discomfort.
Yeah.
We're practically trained to run from pain, right? But stuffing it down just makes it louder, longer. So scheduling 5 minutes isn't about judgment, it's observation. Notice it, maybe use your breath to stay grounded so you don't get swept away. You acknowledge the feeling, give it space, and then let it pass. It's a skill, really. Emotional regulation.
Okay, acknowledging and letting pass, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And speaking of shifts, lesson 4 is about reframing your story. This feels bigger than just positive thinking. It's about grabbing the pen, recognizing you're the author of your life narrative. So you consciously flip the script, change I failed, maybe to I learned or I overcame. Because we do tend to write ourselves into these boxes, don't we? The victim, the failure.
Exactly. It's about actively rewriting those old stories that keep you stuck, turning chains into springboards, essentially. A really powerful exercise suggested is to take one negative belief, say, I'm not good enough, and consciously rewrite it. Turn it into an affirmation reflecting a new truth you want to embody, like I am capable and always growing. Doing that consistently actually reshapes how you see things.
Right, rewriting the internal script. Then the book moves to build your new path. And this is all about small steps. Forget giant leaps. It's about finding one tiny daily habit, just one, that aligns with who you really want to be. Why are these tiny steps so effective?
It's the consistency, not the size. That's the magic. The book explains how these micro actions literally build new pathways in your brain. They override the old default self-sabotaging ones. So it's not just willpower, it's neurology. And the suggestion is start super small. 2 minutes of deep breathing, or journaling one sentence. Those tiny wins build up, they create real momentum, shows you that even small effort counts.
Love that. Small steps, big changes. Okay, finally, lesson 6. Embrace the climb. This acknowledges, growth is hard. It feels like climbing a mountain sometimes. But the key insight, celebrate every step, not just reaching the summit. It's about appreciating the journey itself, the process, not just fixating on the end goal.
Precisely. And to help with that, it suggests keeping something like a victory log. Just a simple list, noting down every little win. Maybe you showed yourself compassion, or you paused instead of reacting, or you did that 2-minute habit. Doesn't matter how small it seems. Writing it down reinforces your progress, builds that belief in yourself, and keeps the momentum going. It reminds you, hey, you are climbing this mountain, step by step.
So bringing this all together for you listening, this deep dive into the mountain is you, really shows that overcoming self-sabotage isn't about one massive push. It's more about realizing the power of those small, steady actions. And maybe most importantly, shifting how you see your challenges and yourself.
Yeah.
It's about taking back control of your story.
Yeah, beautifully said. And as the book puts it, your mountain is waiting. Every step up is a step toward your fullest self. So maybe take a moment after this. Think about which of these ideas really clicked for you today. What's one tiny step, just one thing you could do to start your own climb?